It's about
All
to
right,
be
I'm gonna mute everybody.
7:10. Yes, I'm gonna do a little bit of housekeeping. I just want you all to know that just keep in mind that our session is being recorded, not because we want to invade your privacy, but because we also want folks that weren't able to tune in right now to have access later on. There's other area codes, and there's just people that this is like their family dinner time, especially if we're on the West Coast. And so there's been a request for it, and Notacult has been gracious enough to also record this and upload to the YouTube. So just be mindful of that, that's happening. But it's still like a beautiful community that we're in. Also, I want you all to know that this is a space that we're holding for you. So utilize it. If there's participation, I want you to participate. I want you to feel free to share. There's no judgment here. And also, I'm a really, really big believer that if you have something to ask or if you want to share, you must make use of it. Because then if you go home and you regret it, it's nobody's fault but yours. Because we facilitated a space for you and you are investing in yourself by being here. Word, y'all can't answer, but this is when you say word back. So that being said, do we have any like you could just say me in the chat. If you don't know how to access the chat, it's at the bottom. There's a little chat bubble. You can always feel free to chat there and I look at it throughout the night. Was anybody at last week's workshop where we wrote in metaphors? We explored what metaphors were. And did anybody go home and, well, you were already home, but did anybody work with it this week? And did you edit it? Did you turn it into a bigger poem? Were you happy with the way it was in the workshop? Do you want to share it now? We'll have like 2 or 3 people share. We'll have 3 people share to kind of warm up the quote unquote room, and then we'll get into the writing for today. So who wants to share? Say, I want to share.
Destiny,
and then
do you want to unmute yourself and share?
We'll go with Destiny, and then after Destiny, oh, y'all are moving fast. After Destiny, we'll go with Jennifer, and after Jennifer, we'll do Lupita. So go ahead, Destiny.
Okay, so I don't look the best today, so I'm gonna read it out loud. I wrote a poem on my grandmother who passed away 3 years ago. It starts off as, you were a woman so pure, your Catholic believers would say you would become a saint. Your words so wise, your love so fulfilling, it would fill up a room to the ceiling. Some days I miss your warmth, your smile, the way my body misses water. I shouldn't say that out loud, but it would just force your spirit to come over me, the same way you would cuando me dabas una regañada. Te siento conmigo, pero no como cualquier fantasma, friendlier than Casper, but nothing too scary. No como la Llorona, casi como el Espíritu Santo. Sometimes I feel like I've lost you, especially when I'm alone. But so I don't think of you being gone, I imagine you on the way home. Bus number 50, she'll get off on Central. I can't wait for you to get here, ya ordené nuestra hamburguesa de pollo. Maybe you fell asleep on the bus again. If I called your phone, you think it would only go to voicemail once more. I truly hope you never leave me. I saw you tucked away in the dirt once before. Please don't leave my mind. Just don't leave me alone. No sé por qué sigues conmigo, pero estoy espantada. No de tu presencia, pero que me dejes de nuevo. I don't want to be okay if that means that you'll go away.
Beautiful. I don't want you to be okay. That means that you'll go away. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Destiny. Jennifer, do you want to share?
Sure. Okay. It's called All Is Well. All is well, the world has gone mad. In the fertile field, I think back to the yellow wall, the lapping waves, the Argentines. I think of you and all is well. My love, few things are meant to last, but of this I'm sure. Soon, the ripened prune will be plowed, and the calloused men with tired hands will go home. In the empty field I stand, arms laden by the weight of memory. The yellow wall, the hands that fit, the lapping waves, the Argentines. The world has gone mad. All is well.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. One more last person. Lupita, you're up.
So mine's called I Can't Forget You. Let me know if my microphone is weird because I've heard people say that it sounds weird. So just let me
No,
know.
you sound crystal clear.
Okay. My mind is addicted to an imaginary future, replaying our memories like a broken line in jukebox, stuck in the song where I loved you. I keep swaying to the same beats of our hearts, expecting a different dance. Yet you've let the music guide you away from me, to the serene heaven. But how's it safe if I can't hold you? What if the soothing blue lakes drown you? If the roses grow just to suffocate you? Or if the gleaming stars at night draw near to burn you? But I understand if you don't return. We were freezing water being poured on hot glass, destined to break. Your cold, tender words could put out the worst of fires. But my hot-headed impulsivity could not be contained. So I broke out on you. I'm sorry. I promise I'll get help. Maybe then I'll be easier to love.
Mm, beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. You guys are so good. Okay, so how does everybody else feel? Everybody ready to get some writing done? I want you to pull out a document on whether it's on your screen or if you prefer to write with pen and paper, whatever it is that you like. There's no rules with me. If you want to write on your phone, you can more write on your phone, on your keyboard, whatever it is that you want on your iPad. If you want to write in the blood of your exes, that's cool. I just hope that you have enough of it. I'm not encouraging you to go get more blood if you don't have it. Whatever is going to work for you. So today we're going to be exploring a list poem. Does anybody know what a list poem is that wants to share? You could say me on the side and I'll call on you. Does anybody want it? Has anybody ever read a list poem or written a list poem? I don't need you to share a poem. I just want you to know if you know what one. A list, List, like say you said yes, your poem for LA. Yes. Okay, so a list poem. Okay, Lorena, how about you explain to us what a list poem is?
Okay, not the pro, so I'm gonna give it a try.
Go ahead.
I'm going based off from your poem, obviously. From what I saw, it's basically literally a list. You know how you went 1 to 23, and basically, you know, for your example, you listed all 23 things that you know or that remind you of LA. That's kind of like the idea that I have. I once took like a small class in college, and it was kind of the same similar idea too.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, that's so list poems became really popular. Well, they've always kind of worked and existed in many different ways, but I think that they became a lot very popular within spoken word, because sometimes a list poem could be two things, and we're not going to worry about the second part of it, but sometimes writers use list poems as a crutch because it's a quick way to write about multiple things without have to worry about learning transitions within a poem. But that's something for a different workshop. But also list poems are beautiful in a way where it lets you approach one subject from as many different directions as you would want to, because it's a list, right? So we're going to write a couple of short lists ourselves, and then we're going to write an entire list poem once we get warmed up. So that's what we're going to do. At first, though, before anything, what we do at all of my writing workshops, I want you at the top of wherever you're writing your sheet, you're going to put the date, today's date, you're going to put the weekday, and I want you to write out your whole name. So the date, the weekday, write out your whole name, and I want you to write 2 facts that are true for today. It could be anything. It could be the fact that you sat outside in your garden today. It could be that it's hot inside your room in this moment. Anything, 2 facts that are true for today, and write those down, and you have 2 minutes for that. All right. So the reason why I have you, sorry, like I gotta, I'm all out of breath. I got up and ran to get a bottle of water and then I ran back, trying to give you guys time. So the reason why I have you all do the header for every piece is that later on, years from now or a month from now or whenever you revisit this and you might not remember where this piece of writing came from, you have at the top right hand corner or wherever it is that you wrote it at the top of the page what was happening in this moment, who you were in this moment, because who you are today you will never be again. Every day that we wake up we become new people, and every day gives us a different opportunity to create something that could be really, really unique to who we are in this moment, that intersection of time and who we are, right? And so I think it's really dope to always have that in whatever you're writing, always at least put the date and the time or something like specific so that when you go back and you're like, oh damn, like really, like I was this upset over COVID on this day when it really ended up being nothing. Then April ended. This is me being hopeful, right? Then April ended and we're all fine and we have like our summer, and then being in social distancing is like a faraway thought, right? So I think that's really, really cool. So beneath that, you wrote your 2 facts. Does anybody want to share what were the 2 facts that they wrote about today? So let me see. Amy, go ahead.
Hey everybody, so the 2 facts that I have for today was that in the morning when I woke up my apartment was cold and then it became unbearably warm later on. And then the second fact is that I indulged and felt good today about that.
What did you indulge in?
So basically I've been working on like losing weight these last couple weeks, and then like today I actually weighed myself because I'm doing it where I weigh myself once a month now. And today I just like had like chocolate and like cookies and like cakes that I have have stored up because lately I've been so worried about food that today it just felt good to kind of sit down and reward myself, you know, because I'm not too worried about running out of that. So
beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And then Janavi.
Hey, so it's actually Jonavi. The H is silent. I don't know why it's there. Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect. No, it's beautiful. Thank you for teaching me how to say your name.
Oh my goodness, thank you. So the 2 facts that I listed was that currently I'm working on the LSAT and preparing for the LSAT, and it's been really hard these past couple of days. And I finally got into the swing of things with the analytical reasoning part of that test, which is like the hardest part of that test. And the second one is actually the seminar. I've been a really big fan of yours for a really long time, and it's just so humbling to finally get to talk to you like one-on-one. And I just want to thank you for doing this. Like I think I speak for all of us when I say like thank you so much for being so accommodating and, you know, doing this and sharing your knowledge with all of us. I just really appreciate it a lot.
No, thank you. And I mean, we're fortunate enough that there's a plethora of writers that are doing this, and of course Notacult has rounded up a few of us, and there's been a bunch of other dope workshops. And I think that I focus a lot on getting folks to writing, period. And I think that the other workshops that Notacult gives are really good to take like with this, right? So it's like, okay, you had never written a poem and then you came to a Yesika workshop and you wrote a poem. How do I get better, right? How do I get to the next step? And I have friends that are super dope instructors, like Carla, who's in here, and then also Edwin Bodney, who gave a workshop last night. And I encourage y'all, like, especially because it's sliding scales and donate whatever you can. Take advantage of it right now, because sometimes in person you don't get to have that opportunity to be able to like give $5 for a workshop, you know. And my friends are amazing, beautiful instructors, and I'm super excited to be able to be like a part of that. So did you want to share your facts?
Those were my facts, actually. Yeah.
That's perfect. Thank you so much, my love.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
All right, so we're gonna write a bunch of lists today. Lists are really helpful, right? We use lists when we don't want to forget something, when we're gonna go shopping, and we need to make a list of what we're gonna do. I make a list of any time, and if I'm gonna go on tour and travel, I travel about 2 to 4 times a month sometimes, and even then, I still have to make a list every single time I pack to make sure I didn't leave anything behind. Like I will itemize every single thing in my suitcase. So because that is one of the ways that list works best for me, I want you all to put at the top my suitcase. You're gonna write something in my suitcase, and we're gonna think of this carry-on sized suitcase that you have, and that you get to fill with things that you bring with you into isolation. So you get to go out into the world. There's no virus up there. There's nothing scary happening. And you get to fill up this travel size suitcase with anything out in the world to bring into isolation with you. I want you to number from 1 to 6, and you're going to think of 6 things that you could bring with you into isolation from outside in the world. There's no rules, only that it has to be able to fit in this suitcase. And I'm giving you 4 minutes for that. The trick is that you don't think much about it in the beginning. We'll do things that require more thought and be more in depth. So you have 4 minutes for this one. Okay, you have 1 minute. Somebody asked, do liquid mints apply? If that's what you're bringing with you into isolation. All right, so we're gonna, time's up there. It's supposed to be a really short, brief list. Anybody want to share their list? Say, I want to share. Okay, Karina, share your list with us.
Hi, y'all. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Okay, so number 1, tequila, ginger root, my plantita from home, my favorite tea mug from my classroom, Vicks Vaporub, sage, and my paintbrushes.
Beautiful. Grace, how about you share with us?
What?
Right. Grace, you could share.
Oh.
I could hear you. Oh, and then you went back to mute. So at the bottom left hand of your screen, you'll see the little microphone that moves whenever you talk. It goes green.
Hello?
There you go. Yeah, there you go. I can hear you.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay. My 6 things are my books, like my poem books, my self-help books, my acting books, my music. Somehow I want to take Spotify with me, or I'm going to learn how to put my music in my luggage without bringing my phone. I would have to figure that out. My special toy that I have, my written my written articles that I've written in college, my favorite movies, and my wallet.
Okay, so when you wrote my books, did you write what was exactly what you wrote on paper? What does that line say?
My books, parentheses, my self-help, my poem books, and my acting books.
Perfect. I was going to tell you when to always take the step further especially when we're doing this poems. You could put my books, and that doesn't hit as hard as you say my self-help books, right? Because you're like, oh, you want to, like, then now I get a little bit of a taste for your personality, right? So when you say my music, I think it would have gone farther if you would have been like every Toni Braxton song she's ever written. Then I would get more, it's a good way to take that a little bit further with more detail. I am really, really big on specifics. And
Okay.
I will say this in any session that we have. You can mute yourself, Grace. But thank you so much for sharing with us. But I will say this in every session, the more specific you are in detail in what you're saying, the more details you give, the clearer mirror you're offering to your reader. And if anything, poetry is a constant search of looking for yourself and other people's writings. So as a writer, it is our job to be the clearest mirror that we can be. So think of that whenever we're moving forward today. Like if you want to put, like, let's say somebody had said there's gum, right? Like something about spearmint gum. It's like it would be so good if I were to hear like the specific brand of the gum and like the count, like a 24 pack of winter fresh gum. Then I'd be like, why the fuck does she want a 24 pack? Like, but then it becomes more texturized than just gum. Weird. One more person to share their list. Juan Ignacio Rodriguez Castillo. I love that it's the whole name. Can you share, please?
It's actually Alicia Arroyo. I'm using my friend's computer.
Okay. We'll tell your friend I like their entire long name.
Flowers from el jardín de mi abuela. My mocha coffee maker. Boxing gloves. My journal my older sister taught me to keep. A good book and some paint.
Okay, so when you say flowers from your grandmother's garden, what kind of flowers? Which flowers?
I would probably have to pick quite a few. She has so many. So there's like roses. I don't even know the names of half of them, but yeah, I guess I would have to get specific. But
yeah,
right now I guess it'd just be roses.
Yeah, no, you did good. Thank you so much for sharing. But this is just to help give examples of what it is to paint an entire picture, like all the way, right? Because it's one thing to say, I would get flowers from my grandmother. That's already beautiful, and there's already a lot of detail in that. But if you were to say tulips from my grandmother's garden, right? Then I could just imagine exactly what a tulip, and there's something sweet about a tulip. Or if I hear roses, then I think of thorns and like something that you have to be careful to get, right? And that is a very fragile kind of flower. So you're adding, the more specific you are, the more there is in the story that's already being received, right? And so, and like you said, a good book. So what is a good book for you? Like, is it, you could have said a book that'll make me cry, or a book that'll make me laugh, or, so then that gives me more of what you feel like the hunger for. But I still think it was a beautiful list. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, so we're gonna go into another list. So I want you all to also, we're gonna introduce the talk of what of structure in poetry. So a list poem is a form of structured poetry, right? There's other structured poetry that is more traditional that you've heard of, like sestinas, sonnets, blah blah, like those kinds of things that we all get taught in school, and then we're always just like, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? I always think of that little crying kid, the meme of the crying kid. What is this? Nah, man. But I think that this poem is a very accessible form of writing because there's not, other than the fact that it's a list poem, there's not many other rules to it, right? But list is a good way to introduce meter into your poetry, and meter is the rhythm of poetry, the rhythm in poetry. There's a lot of poetry that already has its own rhythm and its own beat, so that's important for y'all to always, whenever you're writing, to read your work back to yourself so that you could play with the meter of your words and how they sound together. Like repetition is a good way to utilize meter too, because when you're using repetition in a poem, I have a poem that's a list poem, but I don't say numbers in the poem. It says, all of my poems are about love, all of my poems are about some boy, all of my poems are about my fat, all of my poems are about my Spanish, my El Salvador, my English, my Los Angeles, my pre-gentrification Silver Lake. But you see how the repetition leads into the rhythm of what of the story that you're telling, so that there is a soft rhythm in it that's happening, that's moving the poem forward, but you're still telling a story in a list of a specific thing. And so what I was telling was a story of what my poems are about. So we're going to make another list, and I want you to think. This time we're going to be even more specific, okay? Even more specific. So we're going to make a list about the last 5 times that you wish you could have unsaid something. So the last 5 times that you wish you could have unsaid something. And think of the rhythm of what you're writing, and think of giving details in what you're writing, okay? It doesn't have to be chronological. It's just list 5 times of the last time you wish you had unsaid something. And so you will have 5 minutes for that, because I want you to give me details. I want you to tell me, spill the story, give me the story. Someone said this is hard. Just remember too, also, when you're sharing things like that, it doesn't necessarily have to be something disastrous or terrible. It could just be like, I wish that I could unsay the last time that I saw my crush, because I called him bro. So that's something that I wish I could have unsaid, I called him bro and I gave him a high five. So that would be in my list, because when I think of that, I'm mortified. But also on my list would be uh, yelling at my mom for something that, like, I felt didn't merit yelling at her for. But you see how those 2 things could be on the same list, and they both carry importance. So it doesn't have to be like your the worst mistakes you've ever made in your life. Just the last 5 times that you said something that you regretted, and it could have been some weird shit. So I don't ever want you to think that you have to like give me like heavily emotional things if that's not where you're ready to go. One minute. Okay. Who wants to share their list? Y'all are ready. We're gonna go with Ashley.
Hello, I'm sorry, y'all. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, buenas tardes. So, here
Buenas tardes.
yesterday, I wish I would have not worried about her 13 years of life. I wish I would have not been a chismosa, but my heart took over my tongue, and yesterday I said it. Yesterday I told you about her tequila smell. I wish yesterday.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that, Ashley.
Thank you.
And I like that you didn't number, like there was really like a numbering, and so, but there was still like a repetition in it that allowed me to know that it was a list. So thank you for that. Lorena, do you want to go up next?
Yes, of course. Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I wish I could have unsaid I hate you in my last breakup. I wish I could have unsaid eres el amor de mi vida. I wish I could have unsaid I give up. I wish I could have unsaid hello in that DM.
Okay. Thank you for that, Lorena. She said, I wish I could have said hello in that DM. I feel like, okay, so who slid it? Like, I want to know the story. Like, who slid into whose DM? What was achievement? But I think that that's always a good note when you do one of these writing prompts. If at the end, as a collective, we want to know more of the story, that's always something worth following. And I would suggest that that would be a list that you would find a way to untell that story by a list of regrets.
Okay.
I think that I would be really, I think that would be a good poem to hear. So thank you for that. And then Missy, do you want to go next?
Yes, thank you.
Of course.
Okay, I only got to 4, but so I wish I didn't say I was fine the first time he told me he cheated on me. I wish I didn't say you too after my waiter told me to enjoy my meal. I wish I hadn't told her that I slept with Fernando so she wouldn't take it upon herself to tell everyone else.
Huh.
And I wish I hadn't said yes to that last shot of tequila that I took at 3 a.m. The next day sucked.
Missy, that was such a good list. And that is exactly, you took all of the instructions. Thank you so much for that. Like, I wish I wouldn't have said you too and my waiter That's we all have that moment, right? Whether we were the customer or we were the person on the other end. And then what was the first one on your list?
I wish I didn't say I was fine the first time he told me he cheated on me.
Like then I'm like, what the fuck happened? When did you like what happened? And the first time, you know, so thank you for that. That is the best kinds of list poems that I like to hear when each part of the list could take you in a whole other direction. So thank you so much for that. And then we have the time for one more. We'll do one more. Who else wants to share? Melanie, let's go. Melanie. Technology. Are you having a hard time unmuting yourself? The bottom left. I'm looking for you, Melanie. No? Okay, okay, Melanie, we'll come back to you in another exercise when, okay, perfect. We're gonna go with Stephanie, who was offered next.
Hi there.
Hello.
Okay, my first one. I wish I couldn't say, squirt is just pee. I wish I couldn't say, you're welcome when you picked up my gift from the Amazon locker. I should have just said, you don't deserve it. You haven't answered me anyway. I wish I couldn't send the text of my response when you asked how I'm doing during shelter in place. You just left me on red. I wish I couldn't say every time I say, my little brother that passed. I wish I couldn't say the silence. Tell my brother I say hello.
Beautiful. Thank you for that. So does anybody have any questions or comments so far about these list poems that we're writing, about anything? These have been all so great. And thank you for like fully taking the ride down each prompt that I've been giving you. So we're gonna do, since I don't think everybody's good, we're gonna do one more prompt and then we're gonna get into the meaty one, okay? So again, we're gonna do a list. This is gonna be a list of 7 things. And it'll be a list of, let's see, I had one, but y'all are committing with me. So I wanna give you something that digs a little bit deeper. I want you to give me a list of 7 things you've been, I don't want to say afraid, but of 7 things you want that you've never been able to voice. So 7 wants. You're going to give me a list of 7 wants. It could be anything. It could be a cheesecake. It could be a cutie you saw across the street, or it could be your bachelor's, whatever it is. But you're going to give me a list of 7 wants, but I want you to tell me specifically what the want is. I want you to give me so much details that I want to want the things that you want to. Okay, so I'm giving you 5 minutes again for 7 things. Don't dwell too much on them. Remember, none of these are the final drafts of everything. These are all just writing prompts, and we're just exercising our writing muscle to write a longer piece. I mean, one of your wants could be for me to shut up. That's fine too. Un minuto. Okay. We're going to share. I want you to tell me what you want, what you really, really want. Tell me what you want, what you really, really want. Okay. We will go with Yoselin, and then whoa, everybody's freaking lit. Okay, we're gonna start with Yoselin.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Thank you for this. This is a really fun Wednesday night.
Great. I'm
Just
glad.
writing all of this is fun. So my 7 wants is to make out with my hot punk friend. A want is getting an Oscar. A want is knowing how to play bass. Another want of mine is being student loan debt free because God, just college student things. And another one is moving out of my mom's house because just first generational college student things, having very much limits. Another want of mine is to travel once like the virus is completely gone and that we're able not to have so much worry and social distance. And another one is a personal one, is to not have so much self-doubt about myself.
Okay. So when you say you want an Oscar, what would the Oscar be for?
Oh, I think like for screenwriting. I just love writing.
See, so you say I want an Oscar in screenwriting, and that tells me so much more than you just wanting an Oscar. Because I'm like, okay, she wants to win an award, but like, so then that's what takes the winning an award from validation for your passion. Do you know what I mean? And so it makes it a lot more relatable once I know that you have a passion that you think you're good enough to be awarded in. And so that changes that whole line for you. And then also, what was your last line? Like you just threw it away. Don't ever throw your last line away. Every single line you write is just as important as the one before. So what was your number 7?
My number 7 is to not have so much self-doubt about myself.
Okay, so then, so if you rewrite this list, I would invite you to explore what the self-doubt is, to like give the specific self-doubt. Do I self-doubt about my abilities to accomplish my dreams, or do I doubt my ability to love, or do I doubt whether I am worthy of love? You know, that it's just that those extra steps. I know it's scary to like sometimes articulate those things, but when you're writing and you take those extra steps, it makes your piece not only better, but it also allows me as a reader to feel like I connected with you. And that's what I'm very interested in building bridges between writers and readers. And so the more details and specific you could be, the sturdier the bridge becomes. So thank you so much, Yoselin. That was a beautiful list.
Thank you. No problem.
Thank you. I'm gonna go let's see who up there wants to share that hasn't shared. Somebody that hasn't shared that wants to share. Brianna, go ahead, go for it.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. So I want my girlfriend's hand entangled in mine. I want time and motivation to run and paint. I want to scream without anyone thinking que soy una loca. I want to focus on a book again because my mind wanders. I want to laugh so hard my stomach starts to cramp. I want to feel comfortable in my body and not look at my lonjas with hate. I want to tell my parents that I love them, but home is just not the same.
Oh, so beautiful, Brianna. And did you all notice how she used the 5 sense? She used sensory, the senses to like help us get to understand and be with her in those moments. You know, she. What was your first line, Brianna? Again about the tangled.
I want my girlfriend's hand entangled in mine.
See, like you could envision, you can see the image, and you also know what that feels like to be entangled with something. So you're already using your senses to experience that moment with her. Thank you so much, Rihanna. That was such a beautiful list.
Thank you.
Okay, so let me see one more person. The next okay, Z Ruiz, go ahead. I can't hear you, my darling. Unmute yourself.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yay, okay, cool, thank you. Thank you for doing this. I was excited to see you at Espacio 1839 in LA. I was gonna be one of the artists and I was really upset.
Well, we're gonna do it when we can, so that's
I've been
fine.
tuning into your IG live and you're really making my nights. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, thank you. I hope you weren't there yesterday, because yesterday I lost my mind. But thank you.
Well, I just live 2 blocks away, so I just passed by on my bike and shed a little tear.
Oh.
So the way I wrote
hear
it, I wrote it kind of more like in poetic. I didn't do like an actual list. So I'm
Okay.
excited to share with you guys and thank you for listening.
Yeah, of course.
A little bit rated R. A little bit.
No such thing. We're all adults here.
Like a plant, I want to grow in the branches, making love to a tree. Maybe I also want another dildo. Reaching for the sun, my soul opens up and craves vulnerability. I become even more brown. I want to have deeper pride in that. I want to photosynthesize in order to learn transparency and give positive and take really good energy. One with the air, sun, and dirt. All these wants is me wanting to unwind and to be warm and dig deep. I just want, that's what I really want, to become one with the sun, air, and the earth. But the real question is, does the earth really want me?
Thank you for that. The question is, does the world really want me? I sometimes I really enjoy when pieces end with questions, because it just feels like, you know how, like, have you ever thrown something in a well and you just hear that thump, that boom at the bottom, you know? I feel
Yeah.
like sometimes when a poem ends with a question like that, it's that sound, that sinking sound. Thank you so much for that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Of course. Okay, so now we're gonna write a really meaty poem. I'm gonna share my poem with you, and then I know it's really, it sounds like it's an egotistical thing, but I'm sorry, like the best way that I instruct is through my own writing, because it's the writing I know best. So it's not a that I only teach my own writing in my work. It's just that the fact that I could tell you what I was thinking. And yeah, so I'm gonna read my poem, What I Know, for y'all, and then I'm gonna give you the prompt afterwards. And yeah, okay. So it's called What I Know. 1, all the bus routes that take you in and out of downtown Los Angeles. 2, the names of every street between Silver Lake and Echo Park. 3, what each store was before the gentrification. 4, the corner we found my father on after a diabetic shock. 5, the alley mommy had us walk through the night Papi hit her. 6, the clinic where I saw my first therapist when I was 12. 7, the parking lot where a drunk Papi tried to teach me to drive. 8, the Rite Aid I got banned from for shoplifting. 9, the store that doesn't ID for beer. 10, the old zoo. 11, Griffith Park and its secret corners. 12, Glendale and its shopping mall. 13, Santa Monica Beach and my 2 sisters. 14, Papi's old car parked on our block. 15, my body, a glowing star within it. 16, my first love and his hands around me. 17, the jacaranda tree where I cried him out of me. 18, the dead end where I took my next lover. 19, the condom wrappers by the 101. 20, Fairfax and Melrose. 21, another lover and his car. 22, his hand on my knee down Sunset. 23, the apartment in Culver City. 24, the breakup in Westwood. 25, in Hollywood. 26, on Broadway. 27, the hospital in East LA. 28, the 2 fetuses it kept. 29, California hospital. 30, my father it kept. 31, the grief I left everywhere. 32, what this city takes. 33, what this city gives. 34, what I cannot forget. 35, who I was before I knew what I know now, before these palm trees ever loved me back. So yeah, so that's my poem. Somebody said 28 is the 2 fetuses it kept. So for my miscarriages. So that was a poem that I wrote when I was thinking of the gentrification that's happening in my city and how like literally like I was frustrated and I was just like, look, everybody could change what every single store was. My neighborhood could get super gentrified, but these are the things that I know for sure that happened in these streets and in this neighborhood, and no one can take from me what I know. And it became a list poem because I wanted to list all of the things that I know to be true of my neighborhood and my block. And as you can see, each one on its own is its own entire instance. And that's what all of the prompts that we were doing now and all the little lists that I gave you was to think of every single number or every single line as its own almost mini poem in its own. So the more details you give to it, the next item in the list becomes even more meaningful because the reader is learning more and more about you as we go. So I'm going to be giving you 15 minutes. And at the top, you're going to write what I know. And it's going to be a poem that you write after this poem. But you won't be writing specifically, you're not going to be writing about gentrification. I want you to write about what you know that will be true after this pandemic happens that was true before. Okay, so you are claiming whatever it is that you were and whatever it is that you had within your neighborhood or your city or even your house. You pick whatever it is that you want to talk about in a list of things that you know will be the same afterwards that were the same now. Does that make sense? Does anybody have any questions? And so I'm not giving you a number of things that you'll list. You get to decide how long your list is. I will give you 15 minutes to write. And so if you finish writing, and don't force yourself to write more than what you feel natural to you. So if you finish writing, cool, just hang out. And in 15 minutes, we'll share and we'll wrap up and we'll do all of that. But I want you to give yourself 15 full minutes as we're all together sharing in this beautiful energy and in this space to write a list of things that you know that were true before the pandemic and that will be true after. Okay. And it could be something as simple as your favorite burger spot that the burgers are still going to be banging, you know, or it could go, I also want you all to always feel that you don't have to go into like a deep, like you don't have to go deep within yourself and resurface trauma. I never want to push that in my writing workshops. I want you to show up as you can. So if you're in a place where you could be vulnerable and speak about truths that you've never spoken before, please do so. But if you're at a place where you're anxious and you're stressed and just the idea of pushing yourself to go into something like that is too much, then do a list of facts that you do know. I want you all to be in the space and in a space of safety, and the most important place to be safe is within your own body. So listen to yourselves, but also write to the prompt. So we're gonna at 8:20, we're gonna talk. So I'm gonna just do your things. And if you're not and then also we're not writing about the pandemic itself. We're writing about things that you know to be true. So if the pandemic has nothing to do with this, I just want you to think of the things that were true a month ago that will still be true a month from today. So this could be the love that you have for your sister or your niece and your nephew, or it could be the fact that no matter what, you know that Thanksgiving dinner is gonna happen and your mom is gonna make that bomb ass turkey. Or it could be the fact that you have a group of homegirls that y'all have a pending party night. So it's not focusing on the pandemic or anything of that. It's just I'm using a collective experience that we're all feeling and to think of the things that were true before and that will be true after. I usually have writing music when I write, and I feel weird that y'all are writing in silence. So I'm just gonna let my music play in the background. What the hell? I also enjoy the ambiance of my mother and my sister talking in the background. Welcome to my family. Okay, I'm psyching you guys all out, and we're gonna start sharing now. So this is a trick. I always tell y'all you have longer because then you let yourself really, really write, thinking like, oh, I have a lot of time to go deep into this, and then you're like, oh shit, I don't. But that's the whole point. That this isn't the point for you to write. Like, sorry, I didn't realize I was off camera. This isn't the purpose of this. Isn't for you to write like a final draft of a piece. Is for you to write the first draft. So even if after this you feel that you're not finished, that's great, because guess what? You get to edit it. And when you edit, you get to write more shit, or you get to take out shit, you get to move shit and do all the shit stuff with your stuff. So anybody ready to share? Whew, y'all are, I love it, because sometimes I can't ever get anybody to fucking share, and here everybody wants to share. Charisma.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
What I know. The taste of Arizona green tea in summer. The sugar pooling on my tongue and the bite of cold metal in my palms. 2. My eyeliner. Sharp as a blade and dull only to my tongue. 3. My mom's beans and rice. The taste of her heart and the smell of my home. 4. The way my hands feel, cupped to her face like prayer. 5. The love I feel in these pages. 6. The salty bite of tear tracks and mischances. 7. The moon looking right through me and everything I have ever been. And that's it.
Oh my God, can you repeat the last line, please?
Oh, sure. I said 7. The moon looking right through me and everything I have ever been.
That is such a beautiful line, Charisma. Thank you so much. That's so beautiful.
Thank you.
I mean, I'm a sucker for any moon imagery, but just the moon looking through you. Such a beautiful ending line, and also you gave so many details. You use so much imagery within your work. You painted these beautiful pictures, so thank you so much for that. And it was so tender. So thank you, Charisma.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Jessica, do you want to share? I saw Jessica say she wanted to share.
Hi.
Hi.
I don't know how many Jessicas there are because there's always like at least more than 3.
You're the only one that said it they wanted to share, so you're good.
Okay. I'm a little sick, so hopefully you can hear me.
We can hear you just fine, baby.
Okay. What I know. Fridays will still be nights for us to go to our weekly meetings and dinner afterwards, and that 45-minute drive on our way back while the sun sets, and we play Mana on the radio. Your house will still be 2 stories and on Diego Rivera Street. Your hair will still be curly, and your bedroom will still have yellow lights. I will still want you to invite me over. The buses will be filled with beautiful viejitos that let me take pictures of them. I will hear their stories still. I will hold them in my heart. We're going to take that road trip. We will play the music loud. I will make my vegan chocolate chip cookies. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good, baby. You're good.
To eat on our way there. And yes, we will get tats. My brain tissue and I will be reunited, and my nostrils will become filled with the smell of formaldehyde. I will hunch over my lab table and be content. I will still go to the art museum and talk to the security guard. The paintings will still be there. They'll be more magical than ever. I will write about things here too. I will wake up at 4 a.m. every day to cross the border with my tariff of 5 pesos in my hand, count it twice as I make the line. You and I can go to the Korean market and buy that sushi thing I don't know how to pronounce while the boys come back from their meeting. We will eat the fish-shaped ice cream sandwiches in the car on our way back. We will say "way" a lot. I will attend all the events I click is interested on my Facebook profile. The world will know how good I can dance, and I mean I can really dance. Mama and I will still visit Abuela on Sundays after work. We will buy her a paleta de nuez from La Michoacana. We will watch horror movies on the couch that has seen every New Year's celebration since I was 12. My abuela will still sit in her spot, the far end of the green couch closest to the door. I will book that trip, the one that I have been selling t-shirts for to save up for the past 2 months. I will forgive you, and we will drive around town listening to the same 10 fucking songs you always play. We will talk about really existential shit. I will bring Sour Patch Kids. I will fall in love this summer again, maybe with myself, maybe with my ex. I just know I'll fall in love. We will have picnics at the park during sunset. The cicadas will sing, and we will drink from Dixie cups with the cheapest wine we can find.
Jessica, this is so freaking beautiful. And I can't believe you wrote this in 10 minutes. This is so beautiful. Like, I'm on the verge of tears. This
I'm really emotional. I'm sorry.
No, this is absolutely beautiful. You wrote a very, oh my goodness, it's so vibrant. You created a whole world for us to step into. And the entire time we were living every single moment with you, from visiting somebody's home to like crossing and then like the counting the coins twice. and it's just like I saw your whole vibrant full world, and I also saw like what you're experiencing in this moment while you're explaining this big world. It was so beautiful. Thank you so much. That was such a gift. Ah, beautiful. Okay. Beautiful. Okay, who wants to go next? Dior, you're up next.
Thank you. This time I won't cry. What I know, that I'm strong as fuck, that I can stick to a goal, that the breakup was not my worst nightmare come true, that you ain't shit, that you were insecure, that you weren't ready for a woman like me, that I can have something to offer a partner, that I'm a survivor, that you miss me paying for shit and making you dinner, that I can be loved for who I truly am, flaws and all, that no man is going to bring me down, and what happened between us, I'll never let happen again, asshole.
I love the punctuation of the asshole. That is the best. That is my favorite thing. Every poem should end with asshole or with bitch. I'm just in the strong belief. No, I'm kidding. But Dior, thank you for the power in that, and like for letting us feel that anger with you. Like I love a good poem that just shuts someone the fuck up. Yes, thank you so much for that, Dior. We're gonna take one more person. So the next person, Gabby Fernandez. You were the first person to say me, so go for it, baby.
Hi.
Hi.
Well, I definitely don't top everyone else, but what I have is God must
No.
be.
Okay, wait.
Yeah.
No. You're gonna mute yourself, and you're gonna come back, and you're not gonna talk about typing anybody else. You're gonna come right back, and you're gonna read your poem, because you never apologize for anything that you say. No one else can write your poem as well as you can. And what Jessica and Dior wrote was theirs, and what Gabby wrote is Gabby's. So unmute yourself and come back without any disclaimers.
Okay.
Okay, Gabby, you can share with us. Hi, Gabby. How are you?
I am good. So my wonderful poem is God Must Be Real because Ana the empanada lady sells her best pollo pastelitos in front of the local Catholic church. My favorite weed dealers on Elwood will keep on vibing after selling me 4 nicks. I still can't walk past 181st and Fort Wash without fearing I'll meet your fiery eyes and I lose my voice all over again. The gringos wouldn't dare to call the cops because my joint is disturbing their morning jog. I wouldn't be able to look at my body as the temple the guys in the corner of Dykeman love to praise. The bodega sandwiches will always taste better than that bland-ass, overpriced Whole Food shit that was his favorite. That when making love to my fuck buddy, that I'll keep feeling his body weighing on mine and trying to make himself home between my legs, and I still can't scream no. That's it.
Beautiful. Fuck that Whole Foods. Tasteless food. Sorry, I banged my table so hard my book fell off. But oh my gosh, thank you.
Thank
Sorry,
you.
thank you. Everybody's so amazing tonight. Like, what have y'all been eating? Like, what happened? Thank you so much. So we have 5 minutes left, 10 minutes left, and I want to go ahead and give this as a time for you to either ask any questions that you have that you would want to ask me, or if you wanted to acknowledge anyone else that has shared anything today. This is our time for us to speak to each other and give us about 10 minutes to like flesh anything out so that we could wrap up today's session. Today was so beautiful, and thank you so much for letting me for joining me in this little trip that we took to such beautiful pieces that y'all ended up writing. Oh my god, I wish I could just read it. Like, I wish I had time to like let everybody read. But so does anybody have any questions or any comments, or just want to share any thoughts before we jump off?
I'll share something.
Yes.
I want to thank you for having the time to share your poems, and especially teaching whatever your wisdom is. And I also want to thank everyone sharing their vulnerable poems, including myself, to share that part with everyone else. So that's pretty much what I have to say.
Thank you so much, Jocelyn. Thank you for sharing too. Who else wants anything? Anybody? Otras caritas.
Can I say something?
Yes, Kenya.
Hi. First of all, thank you everybody for being a part of this. 66 participants is really cool. And I think there was like 70 some at some point. And also thank you so much to Yesika for making this, difficult time for everyone, an opportunity to be more creative. Because I feel like that's something that I feel very lucky to have the time and the space to try to connect more with my different artistic interests. But I guess the question that I have for you or for anyone else who feels like adding is, how do you transition from like wanting to create art to actually getting in the groove of like writing or painting or whatever other art you choose to create?
Well, I mean, you're doing it now. You're here, so it's not about transitioning. It's just about it becomes a verb, right? You're not describing anything anymore. Now you're actually participating. So all of you, if you've ever thought, oh, I would like to be a poet one day I want to be a poet. Congratulations, you wrote poems today. So this is your graduation. I don't have a certificate for you, but if anybody ever wants a reference, just be like, Yesika says I'm a poet now. And so no, but really you wrote a poem today, and that is the act of being a poet. And I think I think that what you're doing now is a perfect way to move into like acting on that more often. Show up to anything that's offered for you, and take all of the workshops you can, go to all of the open mics you can, join all of the writing circles that you can within your own like abilities, and just participate. Be an active person within your art, in consuming it and in putting it out. So just any way that lets you say like that opens up for you, and a part of you wants to be a part of that, go ahead and give yourself that gift, because you never know. Like, there's been things that I've said no, and I've been like, I'm not gonna go to that place. Like, that place looks weird, or like it's whatever. And then I show up and I ended up I never wanted to go to the Poetry Lounge. I knew the Poetry Lounge for months before I ever went. And I thought it was some weird shit. And then a friend of mine bullied me into going, and it became my community, my church, my family. And because of the Poetry Lounge, I literally, because of the Poetry Lounge, I have the career that I have now. Daniel, notacult, and I would not know each other if it wasn't for the Poetry Lounge, because that's just kind of like the hub of everything. So anything that opens for you, build community. Community is everything, and community will take you the farthest than anything else. Going viral is fun, but the people that hold you out and give you a long career is your own community. So as far as poetry writing tips, you could come back to the next class and I'll have more tips for you. As long as the stay-at-home rule is happening, I commit to having a workshop for y'all. I tend to not do workshops often, but I think that I get as much from you as y'all get from this. Like literally, y'all fill my soul, and seeing your faces makes me feel so good. So the next one, Daniel and I will talk about when the next one will be, and then we'll put out a flyer. And that's a good segue to Daniel and notacult. Like they're making all of this possible and literally at no monetary gain to them, because when you're Venmoing me. So if you can, go over to notacult.media, and all of our books are on sale. So you could, up to 50% off. So you could get my books if you don't have them. You could get Carla Cordero's book. You could get Edwin Bodney's book. You could get Dante Bosco. There's so many good books. So many good books. And if you can't wait, you could also buy the digital ones on our site, right, Daniel?
Yeah, there are, or at least on Amazon, the ebooks are available there.
Yeah. So like read stuff, and and anything, and any contests that I know of. I don't think so. We have any contests coming up. But on Friday, we do have Carla Cordero's workshop, right? Friday? This Friday?
Friday, yeah. Friday's buffet poems. It's going to be epic.
Yes, Carla's amazing. Carla Cordero. She wrote the book, How to Pull Apart the Earth, and it's one of my favorite books of poetry. So she said, bring your favorite food and snack. Oh, it's going to be a potluck. Any closing words, Daniel?
Just thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time. This is such a beautiful group. It was so beautiful seeing everyone share their work. And I love seeing the space and being a part of it. It's so lovely.
Thank you. And I want to acknowledge that it was a mostly women and femmes group. And I love it, the fact that y'all just show up. Like, I don't even ever have to specify that I don't want toxic masculinity around. People already know. And I think that's so beautiful. I saw a few masked folks in and out, and I really appreciate too that they gave space to everybody else to be able to share. So thank you so much for being such a welcoming, beautiful community. And if we don't meet next Wednesday, we will definitely meet the Wednesday after that. Okay. So if I don't see you in a week for the workshop, it'll be in 2 weeks. But in the meantime, notacult has a bunch of other stuff happening, and I'm forever on my Instagram. So I will be doing a live reading of Hermosa this Sunday. And so you can come and tune in on that. So thank you so much, everybody. I love you.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.